Well, I think first because we are focused on helping businesses reduce violent crime, that you have to take a look at when you're talking about violent crime. Is it street crime? Is it crime that's occurring within people's homes? In other words, for a business that has control over their property, not only from a liability standpoint, but what efforts are they making to reasonably assess the threats and the vulnerabilities in a business setting, in a place where they have control and where the expectation is not perfection, but that they're making reasonable efforts to protect their employees, to protect their customers, and of course their physical assets.
First and foremost, I think I'd recommend that people keep doing what they've been doing or what they think they should be doing as far as protecting their employees and their customers on the premises. Continue your threat assessments, continue employee training, and make sure to account for some of the new variables and vulnerabilities. Places where customers don't come into the store anymore now, employees run food, run items that they've purchased out to the vehicles. They're in the parking lot, they're potentially unprotected. Is your parking lot well lit? If not, you have a lot more exposure now with your employees outside. If you have a business that's open to the public, you're going to have people coming in with masks now. In 2019, that was a pretty big red flag as far as someone coming in masked up, might be a robber. Now everyone has a mask. And we've seen a lot of situations where robbers did come in wearing surgical masks as mandated by local government and subsequently held up the employees because no one was giving them a second look. Criminals are going to identify vulnerabilities in any situation, and 2020 has given a lot of new material for them to work with. No one can predict the future, but insurers are definitely looking at the events of 2020 as something that could happen again. Maybe not probable, but possible. We all hope that some of the more unpredictable events of this year, the civil unrest, the COVID, and what stemmed from that, were one-off events. But if we're not through the worst of it, well, I would expect to see policy language in a lot of commercial renewals over the next year that's going to limit coverages, certain coverages for certain civil unrest-related losses, let's say. There's going to be a lot more pressure on retailers to be proactive and to respond to these things because the insurance industry really can't take another hit like it did in 2020. And I think that the underwriters know that, and they want retailers to not carry their share of the burden, but they're definitely encouraging proactivity.
I don't think it's changed because frankly, when you think about workplace violence, everybody has always defined it as just the disgruntled employee, right? And so you work on minimizing insider threats, whether that's through continuous court monitoring or better pre-employment screening or supervision, all things that at Lauer's Risk Group, we work to help employers avoid those types of insider threats. But you can't take your eyes off the things that occur within a workplace that are violent. And that's third-party crime. I mean, that's the robbery in the parking lot that's gone bad, where somebody is injured. And so I think that idea of broadening the definition of workplace violence to include displaced domestic violence, which I think we will see more of that in the future, not just focused on disgruntled employees, but including those other factors as well. So I don't think the landscape has changed at all. I think, in fact, that if anything, because loss prevention teams and security teams are focused on COVID-related safety right now, it's important that they still maintain a focus on the types of violence we see in the workplace to try to minimize that. And it's easy to get distracted when you're going through a pandemic.